How Homelander will play in Mortal Kombat 1. This DLC character is coming a lot sooner than you might think, in just about 30 days in fact, but by analyzing his show and comic books, we can get a very good idea of how Homelander will play. First off, let's begin with his powers and abilities. Homelander has super speed, super strength, flight, heat vision, and one extra power that has not been shown in the Amazon series yet for whatever reason, which is quite interesting, but I'm going to save that power for later. So for now, let's focus on these few powers listed on screen. As you can see, Homelander's powers are very similar to Omni-Man, and I mean extremely similar. I'm actually shocked that both of these characters are in the same combat pack. If I was NetherRealm, I probably would have spaced them a bit further apart since they're so similar to each other, but the reality is both of these characters were clearly inspired by Superman, and that's why their powers are so similar. But even so, Homelander has one obvious ability that separates him from Omni-Man, his heat vision. This one ability really is the one thing that separates Homelander from Omni-Man, and as a result, I think that's going to have a very big impact on his gameplay. I don't want to freak everybody out when I say this, but I think Homelander is going to be a zoner. Maybe not a crazy keep-away character like Superman in the Injustice series, but also I do think that could happen, because once again, the one thing separating Homelander from Omni-Man is his heat vision. And as a result, if NetherRealm wants to ensure that Homelander plays a lot differently than Omni-Man, they're gonna have to lean into that super hard. However, on top of that, of course Homelander is going to be flying everywhere as well and making use of his super speed. In fact, when I first saw the trailer for Omni-Man, I was surprised how much he was flying around, because for a lot of people before that trailer came out, we assumed that Omni-Man was going to be more of the brawler who mostly stayed on the ground, and then with Homelander it would be the opposite. He'd be flying a lot more to separate him from Omni-Man, but then the trailer came and Omni-Man was flying everywhere. He flies during his strings, he flies during his sweep, during his throw, during his special moves. You get the idea. Omni-Man is flying everywhere, and as a result, that first theory we had is out the window, because there's no way that Homelander is going to stay on the ground mostly and be the brawler. That's not gonna happen, because even in the Amazon show, Homelander is flying all the time. We constantly see him breaking the sound barrier. He's very quick and he flies all the time. And as a result, there's no way that NetherRealm is going to make him a mostly grounded fighter. Instead, Homelander is going to be flying everywhere just like Omni-Man. However, on top of heat vision, there's one more thing that separates Homelander from Omni-Man, and that's his crazy ego. There is nothing scarier than watching Homelander lose his cool and go into a rage-induced frenzy, which happens several times in the show and especially in the comics. If you make Homelander upset, he's going to lose his mind for a little bit there. And guess what? I bet that's going to be an ability in the game as well. What if Homelander can enter an enraged state that makes him do more damage for a short period of time? And then on top of that, his special moves get enhanced as well. How cool would that be? I know it's a bit of a stretch, I'm guessing here, but that would be a great way to separate Homelander from Omni-Man. Give him a rage-induced state where he goes into a frenzy and gets new attacks and a damage buff, all that awesome stuff. Now don't get me wrong, Omni-Man is also arrogant, to be sure, but it's more of extreme patriotism. He thinks he's better than everybody else, he sees other species as inferior, which is definitely not okay, but Homelander has a fragile ego that when you damage it, he goes into a rage-induced frenzy. And I'm just saying, if NetherRealm finds a way to incorporate that into his gameplay, it would make him stand out a bit from Omni-Man. So next up, I think it's finally time to talk about Homelander's secret ability. As mentioned earlier, this power has not been shown in the Amazon series yet, which I find super interesting because not only does it make Homelander different from Omni-Man, but it also makes him different from Superman. And anybody who's read the comic books or just casually researched them already knows what I'm talking about. Homelander has a super scream. That's right, if Omni-Man wants to, he can just yell and destroy your eardrums, and then if he yells even louder, as loud as he possibly can, it's enough to kill somebody. Once again, it's never been shown in the Amazon series yet, but one time in the comics, Homelander was on an airplane and everybody begged him to save them, and he got angry and said, "Shut up!" And without meaning to, everyone's eardrums just exploded. And don't get me wrong, I doubt Homelander cared even a little bit, but my point is, all he did was yell and that happened. I don't think he even meant to destroy their eardrums, it just happened because he got angry and raised his voice. It's honestly a really cool power that separates Homelander from other Superman parody characters, and it's actually been in death battle too, I just realized. So if any of you watching have seen the death battle between Homelander and Omni-Man, then you already know about the Super Scream, but a lot of casual viewers of The Boys don't know about this power. But I digress. This power better be in Mortal Kombat 1. That's my point. NetherRealm should do their research and put in one of the comic book powers that's not actually in the show. In 37 days from now, when Homelander becomes playable, he better have a Super Scream somewhere on that move list. Okay, so that's about it for Homelander's special moves, powers, and abilities. So next up, let's talk about his combat. How is Homelander going to throw punches and kicks in the game? That's actually an interesting topic because unlike Omni-Man, Homelander does not have a bunch of combat skill training. Because unlike Omni-Man, who spent thousands of years training under combat experts from Viltrum, Homelander only kind of knows how to fight, unlike what some people believe. Some fans don't think Homelander can fight whatsoever and has had zero training. That's incorrect actually. Vought does train all of their superheroes how to fight to an extent. And as a result, Homelander does have some combat training, but let's be real, the guy has super strength and super durability. And as a result, it is likely that Vought only taught him how to fight a little bit because he doesn't need tons of combat training. The reality is almost nobody can beat Homelander in a one-on-one fist fight, which means during gameplay in Mortal Kombat 1, Homelander is not going to be throwing specific aimed strikes like Omni-Man does. Instead, we're likely going to get really big haymakers and just swinging for the fences, and that sounds really cool to me. I'm curious to see how different the combat is between Omni-Man and Homelander. Not when it comes to their powers and abilities, because those two things are very similar, but when it comes to how they actually throw punches and kicks, I'm curious to see how much different Homelander is from Omni-Man. Because even though The Boys is a great show, unfortunately, there's not many iconic attacks that Homelander has done in the show because it's more about the drama and not the action so much. And as a result, it's going to be kind of tricky for NetherRealm to draw inspiration for his regular attacks. Whereas in the Invincible show, there's so many iconic attacks that Omni-Man does, like the Thunder Clap, or dragging the enemy's face across the floor, or throwing a meteor at them. All of these things happen in the comics and the show, which is really cool, and you can draw inspiration from that. But when it comes to Homelander, he's kind of just evil, and that's his whole thing, but we don't see very many iconic attacks that when you see it, you're like, that's Homelander. Although Homelander does choke people a lot. While getting footage for this video, I noticed that he always goes for the throat. Homelander does not miss a chance to wrap his hands around your jugular immediately. That's like his go-to move. And that has me wondering if Homelander is going to be a grappler. How cool would that be? He's definitely gonna have a command grab, right? Just like Kano, he's gonna choke you with an unblockable command grab. That's gonna be so sick. Please give Homelander a command grab. Because once again, he chokes people all the time. I lost count of how many times Homelander chokes people. But outside of that, I can't think of any iconic attacks that Homelander does. But then again, it's been a pretty long time since I read the comics, and I've forgotten most of what I've read, so maybe there are more iconic attacks than I remember. Let me know in the comments section if you can think of any iconic attacks that Homelander does. No spoilers, please, alright? Don't spoil anything in the comments, but any iconic attacks you can think of, let me know. At the end of the day, my fingers are just crossed that Homelander is fun to play. Then on top of that, I also hope his gameplay is a bit different from Omni-Man, because as mentioned earlier, these two are very similar characters, very similar abilities and power sets, which is gonna make it difficult for their gameplay to feel super distinct from each other, but hey, maybe NetherRealm can pull off the impossible. Thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton, and then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. And now real quick, a word from today's sponsor, GamerSupps. Do you love Meat Canyon? Well, guess what? He just got his own waifu cup with GamerSupps. That's right, it launched today, but they sell out really fast, so if you want to get one for yourself, then make sure to use code UNDERDOG to get an awesome discount. But on top of that, you also get free shipping on any order over $40. Once again, just make sure to use code UNDERDOG for an awesome discount and free shipping. GamerSupps is a tasty energy powder with no sugar, and it's keto friendly too. Awesome creator cups, great flavors, a discount, and free shipping. There's never been a better time to try GamerSupps. Once again, thanks for watching everyone, and thanks for watching the sponsor too. In fact, if you want to, go ahead and comment, I watched the sponsor, because that way I know you're a real one. You watched the full video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.